Within Kingdom Hearts Key and Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and Unchained Key, there has been a question that has been asked to three of the foretellers that keeps on coming around. And with the announcement that Luxu is the actual traitor from the Book of Prophecies, I wanted to talk about this subject because it needs to be talked about. And the reason why it needs to be talked about is because I believe that there's a veil over our eyes as of right now as to why Luxu is this traitor. What his answer to this question is, how it will pertain to a certain character, and then of course what it means for the future. Because as we know, Kingdom Hearts' next saga is officially starting to be ushered in with more news coming March 2022. We finally have all of the games coming to the Nintendo Switch, meaning that every console finally has each game on it. Of course, all of the consoles got Memories of Melodies, and then of course, Kingdom Hearts is finally coming to the Switch, meaning that everything is going to pretty much be everywhere, allowing for every console player, every gamer. It's even on PC now, bro. All of Kingdom Hearts is on fucking PC now. But that means that everybody is going to be able to, if they should so choose, to get into Kingdom Hearts, be able to catch up with the series, because now is the time for us to start going forward. Tetsuya Nomura has officially decided to cut the thread to the Xehanort saga. Even Dark Road is about to come to an end. Union Cross came to an end. Memories of Melodies was the last game that's gonna come out on consoles based within the Xehanort saga. So we are officially cutting that thread, and we are going forward, baby. The train is finally leaving the station for us to move into the next saga. But what was this question that I had alluded to? Well, this question has a certain form that comes up in multiple different ways. And basically, it's what would you do that will lead to prosperity for everyone? Meaning that what would you do differently from the plans that the Master of Masters has made with information that comes from the future? So the Book of Prophecies. So if he's telling them that the Book of Prophecies is going to come true, it can only be true. This is the future. We can't change the future. And pretty much everything that's in the Book of Prophecies will happen. This is what he tells Ira. It's going to happen, dude. Like, everything in this book is going to happen. And just as it said, everything in that book has happened. From the fall of the foretellers and the rule of darkness over the world, the recreation of the world, the new Keyblade War, which is Xehanort's Keyblade War, the advent of the Dark Seeker, Xehanort's birth and his rise to power through darkness, his opening of Kingdom Hearts, and how it leads to the return of the foretellers. But there is one thing it got wrong. On that land shall darkness prevail and light expire. On that land shall darkness prevail and light expire. But why is this wrong? Because the Book of Prophecies apparently isn't updated for Sora to wind up saving his friends and going on to defeat the Dark Seeker. So the Book of Prophecies pretty much leaves everything on a note of darkness reigns forevermore at some point in the future, which led to the tearing down of the foretellers, which Luxu only recently became aware of to our knowledge. I mean, yes, he knew about what would go on and that, yes, their original world would come to an end, but the role that his actual fellow apprentices had as far as the Master of Masters plans has only been divulged to him with the ending of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, in which the Master of Masters reveals that the foretellers, or his fellow apprentices, are actually going to become vessels for the darknesses that he will come into contact with as the Master of Masters disappears and goes wherever he's gone. So, with that being said, what's Luxu's answer is the topic of today's video. And it's a simple Sora. See, Master Xehanort and his role as the Dark Seeker and everything is a facade. It was a facade. Xehanort was simply trying to train someone that could go on to defy what fate had in store for the world. When Master Xehanort says that he was looking for a student, someone special, which he thought would be Ventus, although Ventus feared using the darkness, he also turns around and says something interesting about Sora within Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, that he was a Keyblade wielder unlike any he had ever seen before. And now we know that Master Xehanort has been under the apprenticeship of a master of apparently great power, and this master had wound up training more characters just like him and Ericus. So they weren't the only two under this Grand Master that Xehanort had found during his time on the Destiny Islands, but rather there's about like 10 of them. Just from what we know, remember, Skylag Hylium is supposed to be like basically like the college of fucking Keyblade wielders. So we're talking about thousands to hundreds of thousands of Keyblade wielders running around on these different islands, learning information, sharing information, going to many worlds, giving out information, passing information, making sure that this information is logged and booked so that way other Keyblade wielders can have it in the future. All kinds of stuff. And Master Xehanort was said by Yen Sid to be the strongest Keyblade wielder to have ever existed. And even Master Xehanort recognizes Sora as a Keyblade wielder unlike any other. And with his defeat, he even decides to pass down the power of Kingdom Hearts to none other than Sora. He doesn't give it to everyone to do what they feel is right, to have some type of democracy. He gives it to Sora, who decides to reclose Kingdom Hearts, and with it, the Keyblade fades away. However, I don't believe that the power is gone, because this would explain all of the things that we've seen from Sora throughout the series. Now, let me preface this by saying that, yes, this could change a lot of how things have been presented throughout the series, but at the same time, too, with Sora getting the power of Kingdom Hearts, it could also be a very good thing for the series, because if Luxu had this plan of also building up somebody or setting the Dark Seeker on his path to becoming the Dark Seeker, even though we saw the Master of Masters do it. Yes, we saw the Master of Masters do it. He's the one that told Xehanort to go on a grand tour, and when he returned, of course, he told him about the path that he would take, or he helped him discover the path that he would take. But Luxu came around to ensure that it happened. He ensured that it happened. That's why he was willing to go above and beyond to ensure that each step of Master Xehanort's plan came to fruition. He was building Master Xehanort up not to create the Dark Seeker and have him destroy the world, but rather to see could someone rise to the occasion to defeat someone that had already obtained the power of Kingdom Hearts, which was Sora. Sora is the answer that Luxu has to the Master of Masters. And how will he be made into a traitor? Well, simply, he will go on to continue to breed Sora's power, make sure that he becomes more aware potentially of his power with the X-Blade. Because even Yozora, remember Yozora said that I was told to come here and find Sora? I don't think that who told him was Luxord. I think that it was Luxu who told him to find Sora. Remember, Luxord was told by Breg to find the black box, right? Well, if Luxord was told by Breg to find the black box, and if we're to believe that Luxord comes from Quadratum, the unreality, from Verum Rex and of course Yozora, then it's possible that Luxord was told by Breg as well to ensure that Sora is saved, and then also that Yozora, who has ties to the final world by simply falling asleep just like Sora, meaning he's more than likely that unreality's version of the hero or Destiny's spearhead figure, which would be Sora on our side of reality. Of course, the Master of Masters and how he says outright that Luxu is the traitor could come from Luxu saving Sora, which was something that wasn't supposed to be done. Remember, of course, they were supposed to die, and then maybe with the advent of the Dark Seeker opening up the Kingdom Hearts, the Master of Masters and the Foretellers would return. However, due to the fact that Breg has ensured that Sora and Xehanort play into this very pawn-like game, that Xehanort would achieve Kingdom Hearts, Sora would achieve the power to rewrite destiny. So if he could achieve the power to rewrite destiny by Xehanort becoming or finding a completely different power or a different way to power, and then of course that power that Xehanort would obtain would also be passed down to Sora, which would lead to how all of the events in the series has shaped, with Sora having these connections, the ability to revive characters, the ability to see the heart in characters and make it real. That would all come from Kingdom Hearts already having its power being bled through time because of Sora being its eventual master, meaning that Sora may eventually go on to control the X-Blade in ways that even Master Xehanort wasn't able to show, not in his data fight, not in his main fight, not in his fight when the phantoms of Xehanort all come together and coalesce into this other Xehanort. None of that stuff that was shown, I think, is going to scale to where Sora is going to go in the future. And why Luxu is seen as the traitor by the Master of Masters is because this is what Destiny needed. Destiny required that someone all the way from the past should turn against the Master of Masters, but find a way. But they aren't the person who's going to put an end to his machinations, which would lead to the destruction of darkness and prosperity for the future, but rather Luxu. And the answer that he finds, which is Sora, a Keyblade wielder unlike any other, according to Master Xehanort, the most powerful Keyblade wielder ever in recorded history, obviously besides the Master of Masters and potentially the Foretellers as well. With him being above Xehanort now, then the Master of Masters, whose plans needs to be stopped because, of course, he's now had his Foretellers become darknesses, potentially can only be stopped by the Keyblade wielder, not a Keyblade wielder, the Keyblade wielder, meaning that Sora is supposed to learn to master this power by potentially more of the machinations of Luxu, which will lead to the end of the Master of Masters machinations with the Foretellers and the darknesses, by Sora being able to destroy their physical forms, which will be the Foretellers and whatever other forms the rest of them take. But let me know what you guys think about this. Of course, it's a little bit crazy. I know I talked a little fast too, getting all excited and stuff, but let me give you a pretty much slow breakdown. Everything that Xehanort had did and why Luxu was hell-bent on ensuring that everything that Xehanort aspired to achieve, he did so to ensure he would achieve, everything he did to ensure he would achieve what he aspired to do, was simply to train another Keyblade wielder of the light to come up and surpass even someone who could obtain the power of Kingdom Hearts. With that person who surpassed the power of Kingdom Hearts being Sora, also being capable of obtaining the power of Kingdom Hearts, his light now will potentially be strong enough, or at least it should start to grow to be strong enough to defeat the characters that the Master of Masters himself has said is undefeatable, which is the 13 darknesses. The darknesses as in the ones from the very ancient past, the ones from before even the time of the Foretellers. So I think that that's how Luxu fits into this traitor role. But who knows, man? We're getting into the next saga. Things are going to start to unfold. We're going to have to go through, trust me, we're going through a few side games first. Yes, they're all going to come to the Switch, the PlayStation 5, and of course the Xbox Series X. They're going to come to all of that stuff, but there will be side games. We're not getting Kingdom Hearts 4 first because we don't even have a set up baseline for numeric entry. Notice, numeric entries within the Kingdom Hearts series are always based on key moments, such as the advent of Ansem, Xemnas, and then, of course, finally, Master Xehanort. See, the advent of certain events have to pass for there to be a numeric entry. Right now, our Guardians are all separated. Sora isn't even in reality. Riku isn't even in reality. Kairi, I don't even know what the fuck Kairi doing. Roxas, my nigga Roxas, bro. I don't even know what the fuck Roxas doing. And as for the rest of them, man, we just don't even know. The Foretellers and Luxu, they haven't even started to divulge their plans. Ava is just a complete toss-up. She's like a wild card in this whole situation. And then Brain potentially coming into this point of time too. Another completely fucking wild card. And then we got a whole fucking other universe now coming into play. So, dog. Kingdom Hearts 4 isn't the next game. Please believe me when I say Kingdom Hearts 4 isn't the next game. We may get, don't get me wrong, we may get an announcement of Kingdom Hearts 4. We may see the title screen. We may see, of course, that the double hearts now, or the heart and a half of a heart, Kingdom Hearts 4, what it looks like, the title screen, when it may be coming out. Also, we may get a year. We may get a postulation of the year, like 2023, 2023 to 2024, but it's not going to be the next game. It can't be the next game. There's too much to set up. Like, just think about last time. It was just last time it was just what happened between Chain of Memories to Kingdom Hearts 2. This time we're talking about, bruh, millions of fucking moving pieces that haven't even started to coalesce together. Like, nothing has even started to weave together yet. All we know is the pieces are being set. We have to have these pieces start to coalesce. We have to have some type of shape come out of this for us to get to the numeric entries. But let me know what you guys think. This is me and boy Mazia. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming, and everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-class. And remember, I did say that we may see the title. We may get some type of postulation of when they foresee the game coming out. 2023, 2024, possibly. 2022, no. no. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and if you mess up, there's always still tomorrow. Catch you next time, guys.